In this video, we are going to take a look at what an arithmetic sequence is and two different formulas that will help us produce an arithmetic sequence. So first, our definition. An arithmetic sequence is a sequence in which the difference between consecutive terms is constant. If you want to put in parentheses, the same. I'm going to highlight the word difference. We're just putting a little blue box around it. And we're going to look back at some connections that we made from our intro activity. First connection, the domain is the set of positive integers. Meaning set notation, 1, 2, 3, 4. And what that really is telling us is we have a first term, a second term, third term, fourth term, and so on. The slope is going to be the same thing as our common difference. That constant rate of change that's happening in the sequence or in the graph. And then for graph purposes, this is a linear graph. But the points are not connected. It's not a continuous function because our domain, like we listed before, is in that set notation. We're listing it out as separate points. Now we have some new notation that we need to take a look at. Our notation down here, our A1 is representing our first term. A2 is the second term. A3 would be the third term. I'm just going to put a dot, dot, dot. And then the AN would be the nth term. So if it was the A25, it would say 25th term. D is our common difference. Which is nice because the letters match up. And then N is the number of terms that we're working with in our particular sequence. And then down below on your paper, we have the formula that we're going to be using for the nth term that has all those different variables within the formula. We're going to go back and do an example using that formula that we've already done, where we wrote out the whole sequence. We're going back to the runner example. So in the runner example, the first week, the runner ran 5 miles. That is our first term. Then the runner increased how much she ran each week by 1.5 miles. That's the constant rate of change, which is the D, also slope if we're talking about a line. And then we wanted to know how far she ran on the 10th week. So that's really like saying A10, or N is equal to 10 in this case. And now we have enough information to plug all of this in our formula. So A10 is going to be 5. That's going to replace A1. Plus 1.5 times 10 minus 1. And we're going to highly recommend that you plug this into the calculator all in one shot. Now if you would like 10 minus 1, we know that is equal to 9, so you could put 9 in there instead. But so that you don't do order of operations incorrectly, plug it in all in one shot. Will always give you that correct final answer as long as you type it in right. And then this was in miles. And then for this video, let's do one more example. That'll give you a chance to kind of see a new formula that we're going to be working with as well. We have another option for the formula called the recursive sequence. In the recursive sequence, we tell you the first term, and then we give you a formula that helps us generate the sequence, where we say AN minus 1. The AN minus 1 is representing what's called the previous term. So this wouldn't be good for solving for something like we had up above. Sorry about that. But it is helpful if we're just trying to generate the sequence like we've done already. So in our next sequence, we're going to look at defining each of the rules, so we're getting used to using each formula. First thing we want to come up with is the first term, or the A1. So in this case, A1 is equal to 2. And then we're looking for that constant change happening. So if you notice in each of these, to get to the next term, we are adding 3. You can also get that by doing 5 minus 2, second minus first, third minus second, fourth minus third, and seeing that they come out the same. So we get a common difference of 3. If we want to do the recursive form, which is missing the A1 equals the number, should add that in, we're going to do A1 is equal to 2. Now you can do comma or you can list it vertically. I'll do comma for this one. AN is equal to AN minus 1. Really make sure to make this look like a subscript. Some people actually even put parentheses around it, but still you want to make that look like a subscript. And then plus the D, so plus 3. And then to write our explicit formula, same way we did before, we'll fill in just the A1 and the D. So you want to be careful because in the formulas, you only want to fill in A1 and D. Everything else should have variables. All right, and that will conclude the first video. The second one will take you through a couple more examples.